What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. President Trump's news conference in New Jersey just wrapped up, and he walked out of his second press conference this week surrounded by groceries, which Kamala Harris has made unaffordable to countless Americans. And where is Kamala? Where is Kamala? She should be able to do a press conference. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Shout out to everybody watching. Go ahead and smash the like button, hit the subscribe, and drop your comments down below. We're going to jump into this scene real quick. I thought this was savage. This scene right here, President Donald Trump walking out surrounded by groceries. He has bacon, cereal, coffee, sausage, bread.
Thank you.
What a cool moment there. I thought that was great. Trolling by Donald Trump. But before we continue with the Donald Trump press conference highlights, I got to ask you guys, is Kamala Harris drunk or something? What is going on here?
Our extraordinary President Joe Biden.
Come on, man.
And he's going to speak in a minute, but there's a lot of love in this room for our president.
What?
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
I couldn't even watch that press conference or that little rally that she held. It was gross. Anyways, President Trump slams Kamala Harris's proposal for price control, calls it communist. We all saw it. We all saw what happened to Venezuela. They were doing that.
We had mortgage rates at around 2%, close to 2%, and they're now at 10%, and you can't get a mortgage. So, which really kills the American dream for young people. Young people are being devastated by what they've done to our country. Grocery prices have skyrocketed. Cereals are up 26%. Bread is up 24%. Butter is up 37%. Baby formula is up 30%. Flour is up 38%. And eggs are up 46%. And many items are up at much higher rates than that. Now Kamala is reportedly proposing communist price controls. She wants price controls. And if they worked, I'd go along with it too, but they don't work. They actually have the exact opposite impact and effect. But it leads to food shortages, rationing, hunger, dramatically more inflation. Their Inflation Reduction Act, by the way, was a disaster. It's what caused the inflation. Their Inflation Reduction Act was a con job. They actually admitted that it wasn't really for inflation that they did it.
What do you guys think about that? Drop your comments down below. I'm going to go into a couple more highlights here. Declared tackling inflation on day one. This is his address.
Harris has just declared.
Harris's attempt to tackle inflation day one.
Harris has just declared that tackling inflation will be a day one priority for her. It's going to be day one. But day one really for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Where has she been? And why hasn't she done it? Why hasn't she done it?
She still has a couple more months. Why hasn't she done it? Why hasn't she done it? Mortgage rates were up around 2% when Trump was in office. Gasoline. You guys remember gasoline was $1.87. Sometimes it was now, especially in the past 4 years, it's been up $5. In areas in California, it was up $7. Crazy.
When I Left office, I handed Kamala and crooked Joe Biden a surging economy with no inflation. The 30-year mortgage rate was around 2%. Gasoline had reached $1.87 a gallon. We actually had many months where it was lower than that, but we hit 187, which was a perfect place, an absolutely beautiful number. Real income surged by more than $4,200 a year when I was president. Harris and Biden blew it all up. And if Kamala wins the election, the worst is yet to come.
I can agree with that, President Trump. Here is him
The
on
cost of a typical
mortgage rates. Mortgage rates have gone up. Interest rates are up. Prices for homes are up. Average price per home right now is $475,000 at a currently 6.25 or 6.5, anywhere swinging. Let's just say 6.25, 6.75% interest rate at a $450,000 price point. That is approximately $2,700 a month for a home. And I'm not talking a big home. I'm talking 1,100 to 1,500 square feet, maybe in an okay area, not a big yard. Generally speaking, a starter home, if you would. $2,700 a month. In my opinion, you'd be better off renting. You could get a sweet pad for $2,700 a month. Even then, rents are high. Rents are ridiculous. A studio like 900 square feet in a bigger development here is $2,700 a month for a studio.
The cost of a typical monthly mortgage has doubled since I left office, and that number was about 3 months old from government, and now it's tripled. We had mortgage rates at around 2%, close to 2%, and they're now at 10%, and you can't get a mortgage. So that means it's a lot higher than 10%. I guess it is whatever they want to give over the money, and that's a lot more than 10%. So when you think about double, they've actually quadrupled or more than that. Think of that, quadrupled, which really kills the American dream for young people. Young people are being devastated by what they've done to our country.
We are currently in a gig economy where people are taking secondary jobs just to stay afloat. Virtually 100% of the net job creation in last year has gone to migrants.
Virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants. You know that? Most of the job creation has gone to migrants. In fact, I've heard that substantially more than beyond the number of 100%. It's a much higher number than that, but the government hasn't caught up with that yet. But virtually right now, as of the time they did this, virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants. Harris gave work permits and Social Security numbers to more than 3 million illegal immigrants to steal jobs from Americans. So think of that.
That has to stop. That has to stop. This is Trump's comment on Kamala Harris stealing his no tax on tips.
And even my statement on waiters, waitresses, caddies, a lot of great people that drive cars, no tax on tips. All of a sudden, out of the blue, she comes out. That was months ago I said that. And she came out and she said, no tax on tips. She could have at least said, you know, President Trump had some great ideas, but one of the ideas was no tax on tips. I think it would have been nice, and people would have accepted that. But she just came out like it was hers, and she never had. In fact, just the opposite. The IRS is all set up to really go after people that make tips. And they passed legislation and signed executive orders, making it really hard on waiters, waitresses. And that was very recently. That was just before I made the proposal. They were really going after people. So they're lying when they say that, this is what they want to do, because their legislation, which everyone knows, and their executive orders were extremely tough. They also put 88,000 new IRS agents in that can go and harass everybody. And even
I personally love the fact that he has some bullet points in front of him, keep him on track. We'll get into some press off the cuff questions. Some of them that I've watched that were pretty good. They were pretty good. But I love that he has a script in front of him just to stay on bullet points. He generally does, but I think Donald Trump does an amazing job off the cuff. And but the script helps him dive in the fact that the existing administration, the Biden-Harris administration, has not done a good job. And these bullet points hopefully drive that home to the public and the people that were on the fence. Walsh approves tampons in boys' bathrooms.
she's considered far more radical than Bernie Sanders. That's all you have to know. Far more radical. And she picked somebody that's far more radical than Bernie Sanders. He approved a bill recently, tampons in boys' bathrooms. He wants tampons in boys' bathrooms. It's terrible. It's terrible. But that's the person that she picked. Surprising pick to me. I was shocked.
You know what that deserves? That deserves, where is it at? Where's my button? Here it is, right here.
Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz is trending on social media as Tampon Tim.
And calling him, explain this one to me. Tampon Tim?
And I'm going to say this out loud. Republicans are calling him Tampon Tim.
Republicans on social media referring to him as Tampon Tim.
So Tampon Tim.
Online, the trending thing is Tampon Tim or something like that.
But here's the big one. If you haven't heard, it's called Tampon Tim. And that's kind of going very viral here.
Harris has just declared that tackling inflation will be a day one priority for her. It's going to be day one. But day one, really, for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Where has she been? And why hasn't she done it? Why hasn't she done it?
She has 5 months left. She has 5 months left. Let's see what this one is.
Now Kamala is reportedly proposing communist price controls. She wants price controls. And if they worked, I'd go along with it too, but they don't work.
Oh, we already watched this one. We already watched this one.
Truths about where we stand as a country, because we're a failing nation because of the way it's been run for the last 3.5 years. We're a failing nation. People are coming into our country by the millions and millions and millions. We have no idea who they are or where they come from. But we're also a failing economy. Kamala Harris is a radical California liberal who broke the economy, broke the border, and broke the world, frankly. Very destructive to the entire world, because as we go, oftentimes the world goes. She destroys everything she touches. And if she wins, your finances and your country will never recover. You're never going to recover. A radical left person wants to put price controls all over the place, which will end up driving up your prices, not down your prices. Harris has just declared that tackling inflation will be a day one priority for her. It's going to be day one. But day one, really, for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Where has she been? And why hasn't she done it? Why hasn't she done it? I hear her complaining all the time. She was the border czar, but she didn't do anything. It's the worst border czar in history. There's never been a border czar so bad. She's been unbelievable in terms of her badness to some of our allies, some of our great allies. You know who I'm talking about. Here is the record of economic calamity that Kamala is desperate for voters to ignore. She cast the tie-breaking votes that caused record inflation. She cast the votes. She's trying to blame Biden, as you know. So it was Biden, but I'm going to do a better job. But it was her. And if she wants to do a better job, she's still got 5 months left, right? But she can't do a better job because she doesn't know how to. And she's of a place in life where she wouldn't know what a better job is. Going to destroy our country. And as a result of Kamala's inflation price hikes, they've cost a typical household a total of $28,000. These are numbers coming from government. They're not coming from me. $28,000 she's cost a typical household. Kamala's inflation nightmare continues to cost the average American family $1,100 every single month. $1,100. Again, government numbers. You're paying $148 more a month on food. It's every month. Average family, because Kamala and her ideas, and Joe Biden too. I mentioned him, but he's sort of gonzo. It all started with the debate.
Come on, man.
I should have been a little bit easy. Somebody said your debate performance was horrible. I said, why? Because you forced him out of government. But I believe she'll be just as bad. I believe she's maybe in many ways going to be worse because he wasn't really a radical left, but she is. She's real. He wasn't real. Let's go over.
What do you guys think about that? Drop your comments down below. Hit the like button. Oh, we're going to throw, let's see this.
Private health care.
This is healthcare. Here we go.
Wants to take away your private health care. There are many people in this country who spend a lot of money on private health care. It's the best health care in the world, by the way. But they want to do it. They worked hard to make money and they want to do it. Under her, you're not going to have private health care plans anymore. And you can be a wealthy person or a middle income person and you want to spend on a really good plan, better than a government plan could be, far better. And you're not going to be allowed. You're all going to be thrown into a communist system. It's a communist system. You're going to be thrown into a system where everybody gets health care. It's you wait for your doctor like 10 months, 12 months, 11 months. You got to see some of these plans, how they work in other countries. It's disgraceful. So private health care is gone. She wants it out.
Now I'm going to jump into a couple press questions. This one was good. Me personally, it hit. Let me know what you guys think. Smash the like button, by the way. Smash the like button. And then also drop your comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking. This one was good. Check this out.
Thank you, President Trump. You've spoken very passionately about how God saved your life. And I'm wondering, have you put much thought into why God saved your life? As in, for what purpose has he been shielding and protecting you?
So I don't know if you heard the question. You've spoken about God saving your life, that I've spoken passionately about it. And something happened because that was a miracle. I never looked that way. The audience was massive and it was in front of me. I never have that particular graph. That was a graph on, as you all know now, that it's very, I think everyone knows it very well, but it showed the great numbers on illegal immigration. It was the lowest point we've ever had. And it was one that I use less than 20% of the time. It's always at the end of the speech, not at the beginning of the speech. And it's always on the left side, not the right side. And yet, for some reason, I called it. It's not on a teleprompter. I do things largely without a teleprompter, frankly, because it's hard to hold an audience if you're going to go for an hour and a half or 2 hours reading a script. And I just talked about it, and I moved to my right, turned sharply to my right, ping. And if I didn't do that, I'm not here with you. So, yeah, God has something to do with it. It's a miracle, and God had something to do with it. And maybe it's we want to save the world. This world is going down. This world is going down. So it could be, but I believe that. I believe that my sons are very good shooters. They're like scratch golfers, better, relatively speaking, with shooters, great shooters. And Eric and Don both told me from 130 yards. I said, well, that's pretty far away, isn't it? They said, no, that's like a 1-foot putt with, weapons like the one being used. Plus, he was a good shooter. This guy was a good shooter. He went to the range and shot a lot, and he was supposed to be a pretty good shooter. They said a bad shooter would hit the target almost 100% of the time. So something happened. And I have to say the Secret Service sniper did an amazing job.
I really like that. I like that. Here's another press question. I don't know why Kamala can't do this. Doesn't make sense to me.
It's been reported that you recently spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu, maybe as recently as yesterday. Can you clarify when the last time was you talked to him, and what advice, if any, you're giving him about a ceasefire, about ending this war?
The last time I saw him was at Mar-a-Lago, and he came with his wife and a large group of people. And we had a very good relationship with him and with Israel. Again, this would never have happened. October 7th would have never happened, would have never, ever happened. And he asked for the meeting. We had the meeting. It was about 2 hours, 2.5 hours long. And I expect I might be talking to him, but I haven't since then.
Not to take a ceasefire deal? Did you give him any advice about ending the war?
He knows what he's doing. I did encourage him to get this over with. You want to get it over with. It has to get over with fast. But have victory, get your victory, and get it over with. It has to stop. The killing has to stop. Yes, please.
Truth. 100%. 100%. Let's jump into this one real quick.
Really cherish and respect and let them do their job and protect them. And you'll always have a bad apple in everything. You have bad apples as reporters. That I can tell you many. I'd say about 80%. But you're always going to have bad apples. But you're going to have very, very few when you look at it. Very, very few. You have to let them really cherish and respect and let them do their job and protect them. And you'll always have a bad apple in everything. You have bad apples as reporters. That I can tell you many.
Yeah, I personally really enjoyed that. The reporter had asked him about God and a miracle, and it truly was. It truly was. It was an absolute miracle. And if he would have gotten, if that assassination attempt would have been successful, there would have been an uproar. And it was truly, truly a miracle that it missed. Unfortunate that the individual, there was a Corey that died, and a couple other folks were injured, but it was truly a miracle. I thought this was solid. I'm gonna finish up watching it later today. And let me know what you guys thought about the press conference. I thought it was great. This piece right here, him stepping out with the cereal and all these groceries, because we all know the cost of groceries have gone up. They have gone up, and it is crazy. There have been studies that shown that people are eating cereal for dinner. So nuts. Drop your comments down below.
They're not going to stop. And this is a movement. I'm telling you, they're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. It is going to.
You better vote for Trump. I love it. You better vote for Trump. I love it. You better vote for Trump. I love it. Waltz and Harris are so weird, you know it.
You better vote for Trump. When's the last time these Democrats told the truth? Why they always acting like they winning when they know it's all over?
Shout out to United Spot for that video. Check them out on YouTube. United Spot. Funny content. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Solid press conference clips. I'm going to watch the entire press conference later today. Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you thought. Smash the like button. And as always, I will catch you